Recording in
by
progress.
4r square. So this term, it will going to give you a 0. This second term, the total will become a 0. Not only this, if this term becomes 0, I can go ahead. I can look at this part. Okay. So this is a row pi r square into r divided by this is a row pi r square. जैसा हम लोग ये रो पाई आर स्क्वायर कॉमन लेगा ना, इधर से क्या बचेगा 1 और उधर से क्या बचेगा 4. So what will happen now? This row pi r square gets cancelled. And this will be r divided by 1 plus 4. 1 plus 4 is 5. So this becomes a r by 5. Now if I am calculating the y center of mass, then this y center of mass, it is m1 y1 plus m2 y2 divided by m1 plus m2. Now what is m1? m1 कुछ भी रहने दो. What is y1? y1 is 0. y2 is 0. So this term will become 0. This will be 0 divided by m1 कुछ भी रहने दो. m2 कुछ भी रहने दो. This will be a 0. 0 divided by m1 plus m2. So this becomes 0. So I'm just making a full screen. You can just go through this and reply whether you have understood this or not. पहला reply करोगे understood or not, फिर बाद में इसको लिखोगे. जल्दी से reply करो understood or not. If you have not understood, I'll explain. A very nice sum. कौन सा x2 0 क्यों लिया? ओह सुहानी देखो बेटा, x2 0 इसके लिए लिया बेटा, x1 and y1 they are the positions for the smaller disk, and x2 and y2 they are the positions for the bigger disk. बेटा bigger disk का जो center है ना, so इधर O पे what is the x का displacement? 0. What is y का displacement? 0. उसका पूरा mass is concentrated at the center. Bigger disk का समझा? Okay, thank you. Beta, once you are done, you can reply done करके, so that I can take one more sum. अच्छा लग रहा है, अभी कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ रहा है, समझ में आ रहा है, कोई डाउट नहीं है? ठीक है, ओके चलो हो जाएगा. तो मुझे डन करके तुरंत रिप्लाई करोगे तो मैं तुरंत नेक्स्ट सम सॉल्व करूंगा. जैसा ही बेटा हो जाएगा, देन यू रिप्लाई में डन करके, सो दैट आई कैन गो टू द नेक्स्ट सम. राइट, थोड़ा जल्दी जल्दी यार. हो गया डन 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 डन. यस, 1 मिनट दे दूंगा. ठीक है 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 ठीक है. ओके, आई कैन वेट फॉर अ मिनट, नो इश्यू. ओके, डन 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 डन. तुम लोग का डन तो मेरा भी डन. सो आई कैन टेक अ नेक्स्ट सम. एक और अच्छा सा सम है on the motion of the center of mass I would like to solve. दिख रहा है सब लोग को सम ये अच्छा सम है. It is sum based on the motion of the center of mass. Motion of the center of mass का सम है ये. Correct? What they have given, there are 2 point masses. 2 point mass है. One mass is 2 kg and the other mass is 3 kg. They are moving along the same line with a speed 3 meter per second and 5 meter per second. So they have said the one of the mass is पहला वाला mass they have given as a 2 kg. The second mass is given as 3 kg. Find the speed of the center of mass if both masses are moving in the same direction. So let us say that this is the one mass m1. There is another mass m2. This m1 and m2, m1 is moving with a velocity v1, m2 is moving with a velocity v2, and they are in the same direction. Once they are in the same direction, दोनों का velocity I can take as a positive, and this v center of mass will be m1 x1 plus m2 x m1 v1 plus m2 v2 divided by m1 plus m2. What is m1? m1 is 2. What is v1? v1 is 3. What is m2? 3. What is v2? 5 divided by m1 plus m2. m1 is 2. m2 is 3. So this 2 into 3 will become 6. 3 and 5, they are 11 divided by 5. So 16 plus 5, this is 21 by 5. And 21 by 5 comes out to be a 4.2 meter per second. This is the part A of the sum. Let's go for the part B of the sum. There is a one mass m1. But at this mass, let us say it is moving with a velocity v1. There is another mass m2. It is moving with a velocity v2, but this is moving in the opposite direction. It is moving in the opposite direction, so I can write this velocity as it is in the opposite direction, then this will be a negative. This should be taken as the negative, and hence this center of mass for the velocity will be m1 v1 minus m2 v2 divided by m1 plus m2. What is m1? m1 is 2, v1 is 3 minus 3, this is 5 divided by 2 plus 3. Now this 2 into 3 is 6, 5 into 3 is 15, 2 plus 3 is 5. So 6 minus 15, 6 minus 15. If it is 6 minus 15, then this becomes 9 but with a negative sign divided by 5. And this minus 9 divided by 5, this is 1.8 meter per second. Okay. So I hope all of you have understood this sum. सबको समझा, and once you are done, you can give me a reply done करके. I'm just giving the one sum for you as the homework after this. Once you are done, I'll be giving the one sum as the homework to you all. Just a minute. I'm just getting a one call. Just a minute. Sorry, हाँ एक phone आ गया था. So this was urgent, so I have to receive it. Done? Okay. I'm giving you one sum that I hope you'll do this sum. You can take this as the homework. I'm very sure that we'll be able to solve. It is from H.C. Verma sir's book, sum number 7. Just take a SS of the sum and reply. Sorry, पानी पी लेता हूँ यार. Just reply me done करके, done SS, so I can proceed ahead. Done SS, done SS, done SS. Please reply करो. SS done, done SS. Okay. Now, students, I'm starting with the second unit of this chapter. But the second unit of this chapter, it is a rotational motion. So, rotational motion. The first unit already we have completed successfully, and now we are in the second unit. We are entering in the second unit of this chapter, which is the rotational motion. Before starting with the rotational motion, we just need to quickly revise, quickly understand what is a rigid body. Already we had a long discussion here, rigid body क्या होता है. So if somebody can write, can give the answer in the chat box, I'll feel very happy कि मेरे बच्चे लोग को सब आता है. Right? मुझे थोड़ा अच्छा लगेगा. I'll feel good. So can somebody write in the chat box what is a rigid body? What do you mean by the rigid body? बेटा क्या होता है rigid body? If you can just put in the chat box, what is the rigid body? हाँ, that's great. Wow, क्या बात है. मजा आ गया. मजा आ गया, मजा आ गया, मजा आ गया, मजा आ गया, मजा आ गया. और दूसरा स्टूडेंट, दूसरा स्टूडेंट, दूसरा स्टूडेंट. Yes. Yes, wow, क्या बात है. This is what really I'm very happy. So सब लोगों ने almost कितना लोगों ने आंसर दिया यार, कितना लोगों ने आंसर दिया. Oh my God, just to take a name of few student, I got the answer from Anushka, I got the answer from Tej, Sahil, I got the answer from Suhani, I got the answer from the Gitesh, I got the answer from the Mac. That's great, that's great, that's great. Great students, I'm very happy. So, but as you said that if I'm looking at a body, let us say that there is a body, right? Now, this body consists of a large number of particles. Any body consists of a large number of particles. Let us say one particle ka mass m1, then there is a mass m2, then there is a mass m3. I'm just taking an example. Let the distance between the mass m1 and m2 is d. If a distance between the mass m1 and m2 is d, and but if I'll start applying a force to this, अगर हम लोग है ना इसको फोर्स अप्लाई करना स्टार्ट कर दे, if you start applying the force on this such that the distance between the particles remains same, so when force is applied, and distance between the particles is constant, between the particles is constant, then it is called a rigid body. But क्या कोई आइडियल रिजिड बॉडी है? सो द आंसर इज नो. कुछ ना कुछ कोई ना कोई वैल्यू ऑफ फोर्स पे हर एक बॉडी के बीच का शेप विल गोइंग टू चेंज. सो देयर इज नो आइडियल बॉडी. देयर इज नो आइडियल बॉडी. आई कैन से दैट आवर सेल फोन जो अभी हम लोग देख रहे हैं, आवर लैपटॉप, our mobile, our television set, our book, they are the rigid body. हमारा फैन जो ऊपर सर के ऊपर जो सीलिंग फैन हो रहा है, door, they are the rigid body up to the some limitations. They can be considered as the rigid body up to the some force, right? कुछ फोर्स तक वो लोग हम लोग उसको रिजिड बॉडी कंसिडर कर सकता है. So we can consider them as the rigid body up to the some amount of the force. That's fine. चलो हम लोगों ने उसको rigid body consider कर लिया up to the some amount of force. So as this rigid body has a large number of masses as we have considered, now let's consider an example. You might have seen the door. You might have seen the door, right? ऐसा door रहता है. ऐसा देखा है door? सब लोग देखा है door? Okay, so there is a door. अब बेटा on this door, जो door हम लोग देखा है ना, ये door है. Suppose करो ये ऐसा sliding वाला door नहीं है. It is a door whose one end is fixed. This end of this door is fixed. Right? ये wall में fixed है. And there is a handle on this door. इधर है ना door में handle है. I can say that there are large number of particles on this. I can take the one particle M1, I can take another particle M2, I can take another particle M3. अभी क्या हो रहा है ना, when we open or close, क्या होगा बेटा जब भी हम लोग डोर को ओपन और क्लोज करेगा, how the particles will going to move? Can somebody tell me how the particles will going to move? How the particles will move? ये पार्टिकल्स तो कैसा मूव करेगा? जैसे इमेजिन तुम्हारे सामने एक डोर है और तुम डोर को ओपन कर रहा है और उस पे अलग अलग पार्टिकल्स है, वो पार्टिकल्स तो कैसा मूव करेगा यार? The particles will, yes, this is great. So the particles will move in the circular path. Not only they'll move in the circular path, they are moving in a circular path around this fixed line, right? Around a fixed line. Around a fixed line, or I can say around a fixed axis. बेटा जब भी कोई पार्टिकल है ना सर्कुलर पाथ में मूव करता है around a fixed axis, so this type of the motion we call as a rotational motion. So what is the rotational motion? The rotational motion, it is a motion of a body around a fixed axis in a circular path. So let me write a definition of a rotational motion. is a rotational motion? So I can say that when the particles of a rigid body when particles of the rigid body moves in the circular path, when the particles of a rigid body moves in the circular path, center of all the circles with a center on a fixed axis, then it is called a rotational motion. I can give a number of example of this rotational motion, but a first example you can say as you are opening or closing the door. You may take a second example, जो fan है, ceiling fan है, that is also a rotational kind of motion. Not only that, we can also think of like जब भी हम लोग कभी किचन में जाता है चाय बनाने के लिए, गैस वाला स्टोव में जो ऑन ऑफ का स्विच होता है, they are also performing a rotational motion. So once you are done, you can reply me done करके, so that I can proceed ahead. क्या बच्चा किसको कन्वर्ट करना है? 6.25 इंटू 10⁻⁻² हाँ ठीक है ना, बताता हूँ, ये हो जाएगा फिर बताएगा आपको बोर्ड पे, ठीक है? ओके, सब लोग का लिख लिख होने दो, बता देता हूँ। ये सब लोग का हो गया क्या लिख के? जल्दी बताओ। ऑल ऑफ यू आर डन? ओके। एक स्टूडेंट को डाउट है बेटा, उसको जरा एक्सप्लेन कर देता हूँ, फिर आगे बढ़ता हूँ। जस्ट इट विल टेक जस्ट अ मिनट। हाँ, आई होप चलेगा सबको। ठीक है, इट विल नॉट टेक मोर देन 2 minutes. Doubt is गीतेश, यही डाउट है ना? 6.25 इंटू 10 to the power minus 2 को 6.25 इंटू 10 to the power minus 2, सो बेटा ये है ना 6.25 इंटू 10 to the power minus 2 ग्राम है, एंड यू वांट टू कन्वर्ट इन केजी. You know what is 1 kg? 1 kg में 1000 ग्राम. 1000 ग्राम मीन्स 10 to the power 3 ग्राम. तो अगर मैं इधर इसको लाएगा, सो दिस विल बी अ 10 to the power minus 3 kg, दैट इज इक्वल टू 1 ग्राम. So if I want to convert this gram into kg, then this will be a 6.25 into 10 to the power minus 2 into 10 to the power minus 3 kg. Or this will be equal to a 6.25 into 10 to the power minus 5 kg. I hope you have understood. Just give me a reply. समझा गीतेश? Okay, fine, thank you. Now we have to learn the kinematics of a rigid body. Let's start learning the kinematics of a rigid body. अब ब्रेक मिलेगा ना 10 मिनट के बाद? पहले हम लोग ये लर्न कर लेते हैं काइनेमेटिक्स ऑफ अ रिजिड बॉडी, देन आई विल गिव यू द ब्रेक. वेलकम. So let us consider a rigid body. So consider a rigid body. If I can consider a rigid body, so this is a rigid body. So better there is a rigid body. So this is the rigid body that I can consider. Let us say that this is the axis of rotation of a rigid body. Like what is happening? There is a mass on this rigid body which is moving from a P to Q. There is some mass that is moving from a P to Q, which is making an angle delta theta. It is making an angle delta theta in a time delta t. So it is moving from P to Q. So I can say that let a body rotate through, let a body rotates through delta theta So this rigid body, ये पेन से क्लिक हो जा रहा है यार, but I hope audible. Thank you. So let a body rotates through a delta theta in a time interval delta t. So if a body, it is rotating by a delta theta in a time interval delta t. So I can say this angular velocity. This angular velocity. What is the angular velocity? It is the angular displacement upon time. The angular displacement delta theta, time is delta t, or I may write this as d theta by dt. D theta by dt. I can also write the angular acceleration. This angular acceleration, it is alpha. And this alpha can be written as a d by dt of omega. So this will be a d by dt of d theta by dt. And this alpha will be a d square theta over dt square. D square theta over dt square. Now there are certain equations of the kinematics, like we write in the linear motion, v equals to u plus at. Similarly, we write here omega, it is equal to omega naught plus alpha t. The second equation, like we write s, it is equal to ut plus half at square. Here we write theta is theta naught plus half alpha t square. The way we are write v square, it is equal to u square plus 2as. Here we write this omega square, it is equal to omega 0 square plus 2 alpha theta. Then there is a relation between the linear velocity and the angular velocity. V equals r omega and a is r alpha. So these are this is the kinematics of a rotational motion. Now, after once we are able to write this, then I can proceed with the numericals from the H.C. Verma sir's book. So I'm requesting all my dear students to complete this, and after completion of this, if you wish, अगर तुम लोग को लगता है, तो I may give a break for 5 minutes, and then we can solve a numericals from the Professor H.C. Verma sir's book. And after that, I can proceed with the moment of force and the couple. So once you are done, I'll be very happy to get a reply that you are all done this. इसका basis पे I'll be solving a few numericals also. Okay, so बेटा the moment you are done, please reply done करके. सब लोग का लिख के हो गया क्या? I am very happy to see the sustained continuous number of students. The students are not leaving. जो लोग join किया, they are there in the class. They are not leaving. Done? All of you are done? Okay, that's great. So I can see the time is now 8:31. स्वानी का नहीं हुआ, ठीक है स्वानी, लिख लो फिर बताओ मुझे. कोई बात नहीं, मैं वेट कर रहा है. You're all okay, so you're all done. So let's have a break for 5 minutes. 5 मिनट का ब्रेक, ठीक है. कोई भी क्लासरूम को छोड़ेगा नहीं. You can just relax, drink water, and then we will come back. I think कोई भी क्लासरूम छोड़ के नहीं जाएगा, right? क्या खाने का है ब्रेक में? ओके। ओके आ गया सब लोग आ गया ओके ठीक है you can see this question what is this question what I can see in this question is that they have given there is a wheel is making oh सब लोग का चाय बिस्किट हुआ नहीं see this climate you did we cannot take a heavy food and thank you for providing such a nice breakfast कौन था ये साहिल साहिल इतना नहीं खाएगा यार मैं सुबह सुबह हाँ इतना नहीं साहिल खा सकता है सुबह सुबह यार तो पिज्जा बर्गर सब सुबह सुबह दे दिया ये सब कैसा खाएगा मैं ओके so look at this question the question they have said बेटा इधर नंबर भी लिखा है it is the HC वर्मा सर का first numerical a wheel is making revolutions about its axis with a uniform angular acceleration starting from the rest. So once they are saying they are starting from the rest, I can understand this initial velocity is 0. It reaches 100 revolutions per second. It reaches 100 revolutions per second. तो जब हम लोग u लिखता है इसको हम लोग ओमेगा नॉट लिख देगा it is 0. 100 revolutions per second. So this omega it is 100 100 revolutions per second. कितना है 100 revolutions per second. So at this omega it is 100 revolutions per second and they have given in a 4 second. So the time is a 4 second. The value of a t it is a 4 second. Find the angular acceleration. I have to calculate the value of alpha. Find the angle rotated during these 4 seconds. So very simple. What is omega? Omega it is equal to omega naught plus alpha t. So what is omega? Omega is 100. What is omega naught? Omega naught is 0. What is alpha? Alpha is alpha. And what is t? T is 4. So I can say this 4 alpha it is equal to 100. Therefore alpha will be 100 by 4 and 100 by 4 it is a 25 revolutions per second square. Then after this I can proceed ahead. I can say this theta it will be equal to a theta 0 plus half alpha t ka square. Now this theta 0, sorry, omega 0 t na theta 0 nahi hota hai, ut plus half at square. So this is theta 0. Theta 0 क्यों लिख रहा है मैं बार बार? Omega 0 into t. So this omega 0 is 0. So this becomes 0. This is equal to plus half alpha. Alpha is 25 and t ka square. T ka value it is 4. 4 ka square it is 16. Now this 16 by 2 it is 8. So this becomes 25 by 8. So this is a 200 degree. Now this 200 degree can be written as the 200 into a 2 pi radian. So this will be a 400 pi radian. 400 pi radian. I hope beta sab log ko ye samjha. All my dear students, they have understood the sum. सब लोग को समझा 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 समझा? प्लीज बेटा रिप्लाई करो, क्या सब लोग को समझा? ये समझा क्या सब लोगों को? हैव यू ऑल अंडरस्टूड? सब लोग समझा ये सम? समझा 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 समझा? ओके, सो द मोमेंट यू आर डन यू कैन रिप्लाई। डन करके तुम भी सोचता रहेगा कि सर वो कितना जल्दी रहते हैं। So the moment you are done, you can reply done, so I can take a next sum. Done. Other students are also done. Done. Okay. नहीं ठीक है, मैं रुकेगा। I hope now all of you are done. ठीक है, सब लोग का हो गया? किसी का बाकी है क्या? Those are not done. Okay. So I can take a next sum. दिख रहा है सबको? Find the angular velocity of a body. This is HCV 5, मतलब HC वर्मा सर के बुक का सम नंबर 5. So this is find the angular velocity of a body. What is the angular velocity connotation? I have to find the value of omega. Find the angular velocity of a body rotating with an acceleration of 2 revolutions per second square and completes the 5th revolution. कितना revolution? 5th. So what is omega square? Beta, this omega square, it is omega naught square plus 2 alpha theta. Right? We know that it is angular velocity of the body rotating with the acceleration and completes after the start. So it is starting from the rest. So this omega naught will be 0. So this omega naught, it is 0 plus 2, alpha is 2 and theta it is 5. So this omega square will be 2 into 2 into 5. Therefore omega will be iska square root. 2 into 2 ka square root is 2. 5 ka square root is root of 5. So 2 root 5. Kya? The unit will be a revolutions per second. I hope इसमें तो किसी को कुछ भी डाउट नहीं है, कुछ भी डाउट नहीं है, कुछ भी डाउट नहीं है. Sound is not clear. I'll just check out the mic का setting. ठीक है. अभी नाउ कैन यू कंफर्म? एक मिनट है, मैं फैन भी बंद कर देता। Abhi, now can somebody confirm? I have done the audio setting. That is my sound clearly audible to you? बेटा अभी बैकग्राउंड नॉइस को सप्रेस कर दिया. Am I clearly audible to you, गितेश? अभी क्या फुरफुर जैसा आवाज आ रहा है कि यही बराबर आ रहा है? क्लियर है ना अभी? ठीक है. This sum is done. Okay. So I can take a next sum. Okay. अच्छा, ओमेगा कैसा, जीरो कैसा लिया? ठीक है, एक मिनट बताता हूँ. स्क्रीन दिख रहा है ना? ये देखो, इसमें क्या बोल रहा है वो लोग? फिफ्थ रिवोल्यूशन आफ्टर द स्टार्ट. वो स्टार्ट कर रहा है. क्या कर रहा है? वो स्टार्ट कर रहा है. कोई चीज जब स्टार्ट होगा तो इट मीन्स दैट इट स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम व्हाट? इट इज स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम द रेस्ट. तो जब रेस्ट रहेगा तो इनिशियल एंगुलर वेलोसिटी कितना लेगा? अपन इनिशियल एंगुलर वेलोसिटी जीरो लेगा. इनिशियल एंगुलर वेलोसिटी कितना लेगा? जीरो. समझा क्या? समझा. ओके. सो आई कैन टेक अ नेक्स्ट सम नाउ. चलो ये सब लोग, सभी दो सम है ना, सब लोग साथ में सॉल्व करेंगे. एस.सी. वर्मा सर के बुक का सम नंबर 6 सब लोग साथ में सॉल्व करते हैं. आई विल नॉट गिव एनी एक्स्ट्रा टाइम फॉर दिस. सब लोग साथ में ही सॉल्व करेगा. A disc of a radius 10 centimeter, बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग सम है. A disc of a radius 10 centimeter is rotating with its axis at an angular speed of a 10 radian per second. So there is a disc. You can think that this is the disc. बराबर. What is the radius of the disk? The radius, it means the distance from the center to this point. This is the radius of a disk. What is the radius of the disk? They have given the radius as the 10 centimeter, which I can write as a 0.1 meter. And its angular speed is 20 radian per second. I have to calculate the linear speed at a point on the rim. So let us say the point on the rim matlab P. And at a P, what is this total distance? This total distance from the center to the P will be R. So for the A part, V will be R omega. R is 0.1, omega is 20, 0.1 into 20. This will be a 2 meter per second. Then let me look at the B part. For the B part now, the middle point of the radius. So this middle point of the radius. So let me say this point as Q and this will be R by 2. This V will be R by 2 omega. What is R by 2? R by 2 means 0.1 by 2 into 20. So this will be a 0.1 into 10. 0.1 into 10 will be 1 meter per second. Right, सब लोग को समझा, सब लोग को सेम आंसर आया था. मेरा भी आंसर करेक्ट है क्या? You've got the exactly the same answer, my dear students. जल्दी बोलो, जल्दी बोलो, जल्दी बोलो, जल्दी बोलो. क्या सब लोग को सेम आंसर आया? Shall I proceed with the next sum? But I can see that many students, they did not reply. Only few selected students, they are replying. Other students are not replying. Okay, second में गलती हो गया था, अभी ठीक है. ने पूछा द मिडल पॉइंट ऑफ द रेडियस, मतलब रेडियस का मिडल पॉइंट. ए तुम लोग ना, जो लोग है ना रिप्लाई नहीं कर रहे हैं ना, हम लोग फिर ऑफलाइन मिलेगा तो मैं उन लोगों से बात नहीं करूंगा. Those who are not replying, the moment we start meeting in the offline ना, मैं उन लोगों से बात नहीं करेगा. जो लोग रिप्लाई करता है मैं उन लोग का ही नाम लिख के रखता हूँ और उन लोग को जानता हूँ, तो मैं उन लोगों से बात करेगा. ठीक है. Those who are not replying, मैं क्यों बात करेगा उनसे, जब हम लोग मिलेंगे तभी. I will not talk to them. Why should I talk to them? So another interesting sum which I want to solve for you. Previous sum दिखाऊं? देखो जल्दी हो जाएगा तो रिप्लाई करना. हो गया? डन. चलो ठीक है. ये सम नंबर 4 है. फिफ्थ गलती से लिख दिया मैंने, इसको फोर्थ लिख देता हूं. A disk rotates about its axis with constant angular acceleration of 4 radian per second. So beta, there is a disk which is rotating at the constant angular acceleration of 4 radian per second. It means the value of alpha is 4 radian per second square. Find the radial acceleration. Oh my God, what is the radial acceleration? What is the radial acceleration? But let me say this radial acceleration as AR. AR क्या होगा? So, beta, if you are able to recollect, I think all of us have learned the circular motion, बराबर. और उसमें हम लोगों ने सेंट्रिपिटल फोर्स पढ़ा है. पढ़ा है कि नहीं पढ़ा है? The centripetal force, it is always directed towards a center. If a body that is rotating in the circular path, correct? If a body that is rotating in the circular path, then there is a force that is always directed towards a center, and that is called the centripetal force. What is the centripetal force? A centripetal force is mv square upon r, or it is mr omega square. बराबर है कि नहीं? You know this concept of centripetal force or not? If any body is moving in the circular path, a force which is directed towards the center of the circle, that is called a centripetal force. क्या तुम लोग को centripetal force मालूम है कि नहीं मालूम है? बोलो ना. मालूम है कि नहीं मालूम है? We know. So, beta, if a centripetal force is directed towards the center, I know the force, it is a mass into acceleration. तो अगर फोर्स सेंट्रीपिटल है तो एक्सेलरेशन भी सेंट्रीपिटल होगा. So this m दोनों साइड से gets cancel and I can say the centripetal acceleration will be r omega square. बेटा ये centripetal acceleration को ही बोलते हैं रेडियल एक्सेलरेशन. क्या बोलते हैं इसको? रेडियल एक्सेलरेशन. सो द रेडियल एक्सेलरेशन इज सेम एज द centripetal acceleration, that is r omega square. What is the value of r? At a distance of 1 centimeter, so the r is 1 centimeter means 1 into 10 to the power minus 2. What is omega ka square? Omega they have given as the ओमेगा नहीं दिया है तो अपन कैलकुलेट कर लेंगे. They have given this alpha, right? So I can apply this formula. Omega is omega naught plus alpha t. Omega, it is omega naught is 0, alpha is 4, and the time is the time first second. Time is 1. So this omega becomes 4 radian per second. So this is omega ka square will be a 16. So this will be a 16 into 10 to the power minus 2 meter per second square. ओके, समझा? अच्छा, दूसरा क्या पूछा है? टेंजेंशियल एक्सेलरेशन. द टेंजेंशियल एक्सेलरेशन मतलब नॉर्मल एक्सेलरेशन, दैट इज ए, दैट इज r into alpha. r is 1 into 10 to the power minus 2 and this alpha is 4. So this will be a 4 into 10 to the power minus 2 meter per second square. I hope all of you have understood. I'm making a full screen. Please reply me done karke and understood. बेटा जो क्वेश्चंस एग्जैक्टली एग्जाम में आते हैं, राइट, उसके लिए हमको पहले अपना कंसेप्ट, अपना अंडरस्टैंडिंग बहुत क्लियर करना पड़ेगा. क्यों नहीं आता? यू कैन सी दीज आर द क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम द एच.सी. वर्मा सर्स बुक. You are capable of solving because your background, your concepts are very clear, your fundamentals are very clear. अगर वो क्लियर करके नहीं पढ़ाता तो नहीं आता है. और अभी तो हमने देखा ना लास्ट चैप्टर में कि हम लोग जेई मेन का क्वेश्चंस भी, नीट का क्वेश्चंस भी इजीली सॉल्व कर पा रहा है ना. यस और नो? यस. नाउ बेटा द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक दैट वी वुड लाइक टू discuss is a moment of force or the torque. So let's start discussing about the moment of force or the torque. So what is this moment of force or torque? My voice is not clear. My voice is not clear. Voice तो clear है यार. My voice is very clear. मैं just router के नीचे बैठा हूँ. My voice is very much clear, right? Yes. So let's learn what is this moment of force or the torque. बेटा whenever we apply a force, जब भी हम कोई बॉडी पे फोर्स अप्लाई करते हैं and there is a rotational effect, then वो फोर्स को हम लोग बोलते हैं मोमेंट ऑफ फोर्स. जैसा मैंने अभी बोला था, वी आर ओपनिंग अ डोर. The moment we are opening the door, beta we apply a force, and that force is producing a rotational effect. So at that point we call this as the moment of force. So I can write, you can also start writing as I'm writing on the board, the turning effect of the force the turning effect of the force about the axis of rotation the turning effect of the force about the axis of rotation is called moment of force. It is measured as the product of magnitude of force. It is defined as or measured measured as the magnitude of the force and the perpendicular distance and the perpendicular distance of the line of action of the force perpendicular distance of the line of action of the force from the axis of rotation. Okay, so we always write a torque I can say the torque which is a toe, इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं toe, TOU, toe. It is the force into perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. Force into the perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. So I can say the torque will be F into R. I may write in the vector form a vector 2. It is a vector R cross vector F. Or I can say the star in the magnitude, this will be the RF sine phi. What is the sine phi? The sine phi is the angle between these two. What is the SI unit? Its SI unit will be a Newton meter. What is the dimensional formula? A dimensional formula will be M1 L2 T minus 2. ओके, जल्दी से कंप्लीट करो. Done. Done. Should I start with the couple? Done. Okay. ये तो था जब भी हम लोग बॉडी पे एक फोर्स अप्लाई करते हैं, अ सिंगल फोर्स इज अप्लाइड एंड दैट force it is producing a that force is producing a turning effect, it is producing a rotational motion. भी just सोचो कोई गाड़ी का ना स्टेयरिंग है, you are opening the cap of the some bottle or you are opening the tap. वो टाइम क्या होता है? You are applying two forces which are equal in magnitude, they are opposite in the directions and they are acting at a different points. क्या क्या उसका properties है? The properties are there are two forces, they are acting at a different points, equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. That type of force we said to form as a couple. This type of force we said to form as the couple. So what is the couple? When forces equal in magnitude when two forces equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, act at two different points on the rigid body, क्या लिखा हम लोग? When two forces equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, act at two different points on the rigid body, then they said to form a couple. Then they said to form a couple. Right? Now, what is this couple or the star? This couple or the torque formula is same as the moment of force. It is the vector R cross vector F. It means it is the product of magnitude of one force and the distance between the two forces. It is the product of magnitude of the one force and the distance between the two forces. I can give us some examples of this. As already we have discussed, while driving, we are using the steering. So we are applying a couple, opening a water tap, bottles. Now there are some properties of this couple. What are the properties of this couple? The very first property of the couple is it always produces a rotational motion. It always produces a rotational motion. Couple always produces a rotational motion. Number one. Number two, it is a vector quantity. It is a vector quantity. You can shift a couple from one point to the another. Now, after the couple, we can talk about the angular momentum and the relation between the torque and angular momentum. My dear students, if you are done up to this point, you can reply me done karke so that I can proceed ahead with the next topic, angular momentum and its relation with the torque. That will be the almost end of this unit. Done. So all of you are done. Shall I proceed ahead? Angular momentum and its relation with the torque. उसके बाद में अगर टाइम बचेगा, so I can do one numerical, one problem. I'm very sure that in the next class we should be able to discuss the last part of the chapter, which is a moment of inertia. And then two dedicated class, we will be doing a MCQs. The next topic is angular momentum and its relation with the torque. Previous slide. ठीक है. I don't know if I'm able to show you. मुश्किल है गीतेश, बहुत difficult है. You can take from someone else. इतना undo नहीं होगा. नहीं बेटा, इतना 10 ही होता है ना, इतना undo नहीं होगा. Please, sorry. So, angular momentum and its relation with the torque. First of all, what is the momentum? So we all know the product of the mass and the velocity of a body, that is called the momentum. Now, whenever there is a body which is performing a rotational motion, it means the particle is rotating about the fixed axis. Then its turning movement That is called the angular momentum. So I can say the turning movement of the particle about the axis of rotation. The turning movement of a particle about the axis of rotation is called angular momentum. Called angular momentum. It is measured as the product of the linear momentum It is measured as the product of a linear momentum and the perpendicular distance of its line of action from the axis of rotation. Okay, so I can say that this angular momentum L, it is the linear momentum which is mvr and perpendicular distance r. So this is mvr. mvr, or you may say it is p into r. If I want to write in the vector form, I can write this as a vector r cross vector p. Okay, now let's look at the second part. What is its relation with the torque? What is its relation with the torque? As I know that this vector L, it is equal to a vector R cross vector P. Let me call this as equation number 1. I can differentiate this. So differentiating with respect to time. If I'm differentiating with respect to time, then this will be a d vector L by dt. This will be equal to a d by dt of a vector r cross vector p, which can be written as a vector dr by dt cross vector p plus vector r cross d vector p by dt. Now, what is a dr by dt? My dear student, this dr by dt is the rate of change of displacement with respect to time, and this is nothing but a velocity. What is a dp by dt? Rate of change of momentum with respect to time. This is nothing but a force from the Newton's second law of motion. So this can be written as This we can write as a vector V cross vector P plus vector R cross vector F. Now what is this vector V cross vector P? What I know, the direction of the velocity, since the direction of the velocity and the momentum, they are always same. So the angle between them is zero. And once the angle between them is zero, then this V cross P will be a VP sine theta, and this will lead to a zero. So this will be equal to a zero plus R cross F. This R cross F, इधर ही देखा हम लोग. R cross F. R cross F, it is nothing but a torque. Therefore, I can write a dl by dt this dl by dt, that is equal to a torque. This is the relation between the angular momentum and the torque. We have 2-3 minutes still left. By the time other students are writing, I'll feel very happy if I can get a quick response, quick feedback in the chat box. How you are finding a lecture? Is there any doubt up to this point, or everything is fine? Any suggestion that you'd like to give, you can give. But now let me just tell you, next class we should be able to complete this entire theory and numericals, and 2 dedicated lectures which I will be solving MCQ. So now the total requirement for this chapter is 3 lectures, right? I was planning to complete theory today, but last Saturday का lecture नहीं था, otherwise आज हम लोग पूरा theory complete कर दिया रहता था. और 2 लेक्चर में हम लोग शायद एमसीक्यूज खत्म कर देता था. बिग चैप्टर है बेटा, लेंदी चैप्टर है. So everyone is free. Please give your suggestions, your feedback in the chat box. I feel very happy to receive your suggestions. How you are finding the lecture? You want any kind of the improvement from the sir to do in the class while teaching? Please give your free feedback. Or everything is going fine, that also you can tell me. Okay, so if you're all done, you can just reply me done karke, so that I can end the lecture. So it is almost 9:30. डन, एवरीवन इज डन। ओके, थैंक यू, बाय एवरीवन, टेक केयर, गॉड ब्लेस यू। मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट लेक्चर। बाय बाय। बाय बाय एवरीवन। बाय 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 बाय।